This crime scene that I'm solving is called The Leg at Gregory Lake. This crime scene was developed by Keller McCluskey. On May 25th, 2025 at 10:32 a.m., a jogger found what they thought was a mannequin leg near the lake at Gregory Lake. The leg that was mistakenly thought to be an amputated leg was undetermined to be an actual human leg. The leg was amputated at the lower thigh and was encased in blue jeans. The blue jean had an orange paint near the ankle area on the jeans. No other body parts were found at the scene, just the amputated leg. The leg was found 1.5 meters from the lake. There was a slight blood trail leading to the leg. An older worn hacksaw was found at the scene. Its handle was in the lake, but the remainder of the hacksaw was still on the land. There appeared to be bodily materials on the hacksaw blade. No identification was found at the scene. There did not appear to be any sign of struggle, and there were no tire tracks noticed around the scene. The initial walkthrough by the investigators at the crime scene was found that the knee that was located 1.5 meters from the lake was amputated just below the knee post-mortem after death. There was a slight blood trail leading to the leg that was 3 meters long. It is unclear if the blood is from the victim or the suspect, or a mix of both at this time. A receipt was found in the jean pocket, which was 22 meters from the body. This receipt was from Miller Eye Care Center. The leg appeared to be cut by a hacksaw. This preliminary determination was made because a hacksaw was found near the crime scene of the crime. The hacksaw had its handle in the water, which was unfortunately may have removed any physical information from the scene, such as fingerprints or blood. The remainder of the hacksaw was dry on the land. The coroner indicated that the amputation occurred within 24 to 48 hours of when the body was found. Sketch of the scene provided evidence consistent with what was outlined in the book. The date and the location was identified on the sketch. Distances were clearly drawn to identify exact location on the hacksaw leg and jeans. There were a few areas where improvements could be made on the sketch. The drawing in the book had codes listed to limit the amount of drawing on the actual sketch. This may help to improve the overall sketch. The actual time of the investigator's response was not indicated on the drawing. The location of the jogger was not identified. The overall size of the arrow was not identified on the drawing. There were several pieces of evidence that were found useful in helping to solve the crime. The investigators indicated that the hacksaw had bodily material on it and may be able to be tied back to the victim and a possible suspect. This could be useful if the suspect's blood is also found on the saw. It can be compared to potential suspects. The blades on the hacksaw can be compared to the cut marks in the jeans, the amputated leg, and the jeans found by the paved path. They could be useful because it will prove the hacksaw was the weapon that was used in the amputation. Limitations of the hacksaw are that there are no fingerprints on it because it was submerged in water. The receipt in the jean pocket was also useful. The receipt from Miller Eye Care was found in the jean pocket near the paved trail. This was useful because it provides a lead as to where the victim may have been last. This lead led to the investigators to visit Miller Eye Care to try to either identify the victim or find out what his last movements were and who he spoke to. The receipt may have fingerprints on it to help identify the victim if he would be in their database. Orange spray paint was also found on the jean pants. This can be useful solving the crime because the lab technicians may be able to find suspects who have orange paint in their home. They may be able to compare the makeup of the paint to determine if they are similar. If a suspect is identified quickly, the investigators may be able to find the evidence of spray paint on their fingers, hands, showing that they used orange paint recently. The creator may have helped to solve the case when they mentioned a suspect, and the suspect had orange paint in their home. The genes themselves may have been able to provide some useful information. There is a possibility that the genes could be traced back to the store to identify where they were bought. While this information will not provide as much help in identifying a suspect, it may help identify the victim. One piece of evidence is that I do not think it is very useful is the amputated leg itself. The amputated leg by itself surprisingly does not provide a lot of evidence. There is no mention to fingerprints found on the leg or blood from another party. The saw marks on the leg could be useful to helping to verify the hacksaw if the hacksaw was the weapon used. This provides a minimal advantage though, since the saw was old and probably can't be traced back to being recently bought at a store. The main players in this crime scene involve the investigator, the witness, and the primary suspect. The main investigator is Deputy Jackson Black. He was useful in making sure the evidence was collected in a proper manner and the crime scene was not contaminated. The jogger was the first witness. Her information, unfortunately, was not all that useful. Other than this person finding the victim, their information was not useful. She did not see anyone in the vicinity. She did not notice anything out of the ordinary. She essentially just found the victim. The second witness was the first responder. This witness had useful information. The first responder was able to indicate that he/she did not see any tire tracks at the scene of the crime. They indicated that there did not appear to be any struggle with the victim. The third witness was the Miller Eye Care secretary. Her information was probably the most useful of the three witnesses. She indicated that the victim was there with a woman with dark hair and glasses. This witness could be used to identify if the suspect was the person that accompanied the victim to Miller Eye Care. She may also be able to guide the investigators to someone else may have overheard the argument between the victim and the person in the office. One person emerged as a possible suspect in this crime was Janet King, the neighbor who lived a half mile from the crime scene. She indicated that she has orange paint in her home. This makes a possible connection between her and the orange paint that was found at the crime scene. While Janet King looks like the woman identified the victim at the eye doctor's, which was dark hair and eyeglasses, it would be useful if the secretary from Miller Eye Care could corroborate that Janet King was the female seen with the victim at the eye care center. However, at this point in time, no motive is yet understood for Janet King. Here you can see the outline of a timeline from this crime. The jogger noticed the body at 10:28 a.m. The investigators arrived immediately. The jeans were found in the tree line at 10:34 a.m. At 12:20, a partially submerged hacksaw was found in the lake. At 2:23 p.m., the evidence was taken to the evidence locker. While we cannot conclusively say yet who did it, Janet King is currently our primary suspect. The reason is she looks similar to the woman who was the victim seen at the Miller Eye Care, meaning she has dark hair and wears eyeglasses. She lives close to the scene of the crime, which is just a half mile away, and she indicated that she has orange paint in her house. While Janet King is our best suspect at the time, we cannot convict her yet. She hasn't yet been proven that to be the woman that is with the victim in a lineup. Blood results from the lab have not yet been returned, so there is no proof yet that her blood is at the scene of the crime. There are no other evidence yet to put her at the scene of the crime, such as footprints, fingerprints, or tire tracks. Once results come back from the crime lab, such as DNA, we may be able to have a better proof of Janet King's role in this crime.